The entrance garden to the flower show is a spectacular explosion of color and scents as soon as you walk through the door.
Think primary colors and really bold, lots of color. When you walk in, it's just going to hit you in the face with all this great color.
The entrance garden is inspired by the paintings and sculptures of Alexander Calder, one of the 3 generations of Calders whose iconic works can be seen from the top of City Hall to the Logan Square Fountain to inside the Philadelphia Museum of Art.
You walk in and literally see 3 frames basically built within each other that actually creates this amazing floral picture inspired by Alexander Calder. And as you start to walk around, you're actually going to feel this artwork becomes 3-dimensional.
The 3rd frame is 30 by 50 feet and serves as a stage for Bandaloop, an amazing aerial dance troupe performing 6 times a day.
They are actually vertical dancers. They'll actually hang from the ceilings of the convention center and be dancing on and around and over and above the entrance garden.
The dancers give the feel of a Calder sculpture come to life.
They seem like they're floating over the exhibit. Because they're hanging and dancing on a vertical surface, you're going to see them sway out over the audience and sway out over the entrance garden and really do some big swinging.
The oversized floral frames are made of more than 50,000 dried flowers, plus cut flowers and plants, and surrounded by a garden of sculpted trees, rounded boxwoods, and Dr. Seuss-like topiaries.
Stony Bank Nurseries partnered with the Brandywine River Museum to create an exhibit inspired by the works of 3 generations of Wyeths.
We visited the studios of Andrew and N.C. Wyeth to gain inspiration and really understand how these artists worked.
The exhibit includes a replica of the artist's studio. Sycamore serves as the focal point at a native woodland garden with a prairie and a tributary of the Brandywine River. An open grassy field and rustic wagon are reminiscent of Wyeth paintings.
We're hoping that the visitor will see our landscape and view it as if the Wyeths gained inspiration from our landscape while we're gaining inspiration from their artwork to create it.
Robertson's Flowers uses floral design to create the illusion of movement in an exhibit inspired by a show at the National Portrait Gallery in Washington, D.C. called Dancing the Dream.
By using different lines, by using, pieces that are repeated at angles to sort of give that feeling of an arm moving. It's surprising how well you can portray movement through floral design.
There are 5 stages, each with a bold background color, and each exploring a different aspect of American dance, from movies and MTV music videos to ballet and Broadway.
There's no human figures, it's all about the flowers, and it's very impressionistic.
The gardens of the Burke brothers are modeled after the gorgeous grounds of the J. Paul Getty Museum in Los Angeles.
We were also able to give it our own twist, which blends not only the Getty Museum, the inspiration we gained there, but our own take on the art world and horticulture.
The walk-through gardens are lush with lavender trellises, succulents, and 30 to 40 varieties of perennials and annuals, creating big blocks of bold, bright colors.
We have 30-foot flowering cherry trees, which will be some of the largest trees in the convention center.
The trees line a reflective pool that leads to a courtyard with benches, inviting visitors to sit and take in the sights and scents.
We want you to feel like you're away from Philadelphia and hoping that that hint of spring is right there with you.
The American Institute for Floral Design paired with the Philadelphia Museum of Art to interpret the just-opened Treasures of Korea, the Joseon Dynasty.
It's very interpretive. We have 6 very large sculptures. Some of them will be 16 feet tall, made in steel structures.
10,000 stems of fresh flowers create an interpretation of Korean lifestyle. The 5 rings signify the circle of life, and the large sculpture in the center represents the moon, sun, and 5 peaks of Korea.
There's 5 very important colors: red, yellow, blue, and then black and white. So our whole exhibit will be based around those 5 colors, and those 5 colors are very important to the Korean people.
Designer Michael Petrie chose to collaborate with the Barnes Foundation to celebrate the museum's amazing collection of post-impressionistic paintings.
There's a lot of Matisse work there, and the Matisse work is the primary source of the inspiration for this garden.
Shapes, colors, and forms create dramatic floral planes of color with a curvilinear edge. Leaf-shaped wood cutouts are inspired by Matisse's paper cutouts.
I view the flower show as a place where people should feel inspired and get excited about gardening, to feel some connection to the plants and the color and the way it looks and feels.
In designer Mark Cook's The Vessel, custom sculptures cast shadows and lines on patterned backgrounds. Hidden artwork reflects in a still pool alongside large shadow box trees and tall evergreens.
Influenced by the Dutch painter Piet Mondrian, Jacques Armand International presents the landscape Bulbs Mondrian. Horizontal and vertical lines of turf give special prominence to each bed of color and bulb variety. An abstract steel sculpture creates a visual focal point.
Untitled is a garden inspired by the artist Albert Diotto and one of his paintings found in the private collection of Prince Albert of Monaco. A large silver bowl of water represents the Mediterranean Sea. The orange arc signifies the artist's time spent in Afghanistan.
It's fun to interject that new element of someone else's material. It's kind of a hand-in-glove sort of a thing.
And Michael Bruce has put his finger on it, collaborating with Grounds for Sculpture for his exhibit titled Dreamcatcher Matrix.
We are going to have large statues that they are loaning us. Marilyn Monroe will be there, and also Unconditional Surrender with the sailor kissing his lady.
These two particular sculptures are part of Stuart Johnson's Icon series. It's about those moments captured in time, and Stuart's artwork is a lot about that.
We're creating suspended flowers above them, and in essence, I've created a dream catcher with a modern twist.
And visitors can add to the matrix, writing their own wish and making a paper airplane to launch into the display.
We'll collect them every day, and at the end of the show, we are going to gift someone something for Grounds for Sculpture.
Philadelphia artist Keita Broadhead's work, From a Peach Orchard, is the inspiration behind Peter Irwin's patio setting.
It kind of gives you something to design toward. There's so many interpretations of paintings.
He wanted to find something that would really open creative doors. And this was the painting that when he saw it, it was like, bingo, that's it.
The name of our exhibit is Geometry and Color, because her painting is an abstract, has lots of color, has lots of motions, broad strokes.
And she was a very creative gardener herself, so I think that she's smiling down on us and very pleased.
This is the flower show. People want to see color. We all want to see color. We're all tired of seeing white.
The color comes from Marsden Hartley's painting Flower Abstraction, housed at the Pennsylvania Academy of Fine Arts.
The way the overlapping lines and bold shapes in this painting immediately stood out. I saw it in 3 dimensions.
The landscapers used the painting as a blueprint for their patio setting, complete with the raised border that outlines the original work of art.
We've created this out of plywood and followed the same painting schematic, and this will actually border our entire display. Show visitors can walk through and actually experience the painting.
David and Robin Heller from Flowers by David are taking their exhibit to new heights in this year's flower show.
We try to outdo ourselves from what we have done the year before, and each year is a challenge.
They were paired with the Fresh Artists and the Philadelphia Museum of Art Delphi After School Art Club to create their Out on a Limb exhibit. The children in the programs reproduced artwork in the Philadelphia Museum of Art to be used on banners, which will be featured in the exhibit.
And we'll have the banners hanging above the tree, so it'll be a very high exhibit, a lot of movement, a lot of color.
The Out on a Limb exhibit will catch everyone's eye with 4 ponds and a 15-foot tree in the center. The tree is covered in wool, burlap, moss, and of course, flowers.
The tree is symbolic of, again, nurturing the next generation.
The name of our exhibit is Noguchi Through the Eyes of Pure Design.
Inspired by the Noguchi Museum in New York, simplicity is key to the exhibit.
It's not going to be lots of flowers and lush things. It's going to be more abstract. One half of our exhibit is going to be dedicated to what we call a garden.
The non-traditional garden is accompanied by a large flower arrangement and includes a pond-like structure with 2 architectural elements that give the illusion of floating trees.
I want to excite people, and see something they've never seen before.
The second half of the exhibit is a traditional Japanese table setting.
Very low table with lots of pots, table settings and things, flowers.
by the art of Wassily Kandinsky at the Guggenheim Museum, Schaefer Designs is playing with perspective with an interactive twist in their exhibit Kandinsky's Canvas.
When you look at the exhibit itself, you won't actually see the three paintings. It'll look like just one big wonderful mass of color and shapes and objects.
But with a closer look, the frames will reveal something different.
Then you'll actually see an image of our interpretation of the painting.
The exhibit will include a variety of flowers from the most traditional carnation to the highest-end tropical flower.
There's a variety of structures that the objects will hang from, and then there's an actual painted canvas.
Moda Botanica worked with Storm King Arts Center to create Storm King maquettes, large-scale architectural models of an imagined landscape populated with fantastical interacting floral sculptures.
The exhibit by Waldor Orchids invites you to an exclusive affair high above the bustling city streets, an oasis where innovation comes from ordinary objects found in any gardener's shed.
There will be a little something for everyone at this year's flower show, starting with family-friendly activities like the all-new butterfly experience.
Over 1,000 butterflies are going to be flying around you as you walk through this beautiful garden inside the room. You'll get a Q-tip with sugar water. The butterflies will land on the Q-tip to actually feed the butterflies. So it's going to be very interactive. So it's going to be amazing color in there. Not from the flowers this time, but from the butterflies floating around you.
And this year's Make and Take room will have people creating miniature landscapes or terrariums.
People actually come be able to take a glass bowl and make their own terrarium right on site and have fun with it and be their own artists with that as well. So adding a little bit more of a horticultural twist to the craft portion of it.
It's a shopper's delight at the marketplace. There will be over 180 vendors selling gardening goodies, outdoor furniture, and flowers, plus some new finds like botanically inspired fashions from local designers such as National Picnic. The new Celebrity Cruises booth will offer mini massages and mix your own mineral bath bars, just like the amenities they offer on their luxury cruises. And look out for the new lifestyle products offered at the PHS store, plus distinctive plants aplenty from the PHS Meadowbrook Farm stand.
Good stuff.
Mm-hmm. Attention all chefs, the flower show has cooked up a new experience. They'll move all culinary demonstrations to the main floor. Each day you can stop by the Garden to Table studio and witness culinary creativity at its best with some of the nation's top chefs. And for all you Rachel Ray fans, Ms. Yummo herself will be appearing on the main stage on March 7th.
The cool things that's going to be on display are these wingtips shoes that have been created by this artist, and the wingtip shoes are created out of black licorice, and they're 12 feet long, like 3 feet high. It's really like unbelievable.
Noteworthy Quakertown artist Steve Tobin will also display his work.
He's got works of art in most major cities across the world. And he will be having one of his root sculptures that about 7,000 pounds, and it's like 35 feet tall.
And you can catch a glimpse of Andy Warhol's flower prints.
And it'll be the first time they've been displayed in this country in over 18 years. Those have become really iconic images of this year's flower show.
We've been together for 5 years now.
I locked my keys in my car while I was running, and Frankie came to my rescue, and he opened the door, and the rest is history. He's absolutely the most incredible man I've ever met. For being a cop, he's very sensitive, and he doesn't let other people see that side of him. He just goes above and beyond in ways that, like, I never expected to have a man do for me.
After Frank popped the question on a romantic Disney retreat, Roxanne hoped to continue the fairy tale by entering to win a dream wedding. Little did she know her wish would come true.
We won our wedding, and it will be on the main stage of the flower show. I have never won anything in my life. I don't gamble, I don't do lottery, I just don't win. So I was absolutely shocked when the girls called me and told me that I won.
We both devoted our lives to giving back to the community through our jobs. So I guess we feel really blessed that that this has happened to us. Tourism Ireland has generously donated our honeymoon for a week in Ireland, and being that we both have Irish roots, we're both super excited to go.
With their wedding on display for thousands to see, they need to dress to impress.
Literally the day after we won the contest, Franny from Unveiled called me and just said, I have the perfect dress for you.
And then we're going to lay the veil right here at the base.
Hands down, no questions asked. This is me, this is my dress.
Man, hey! Looking good, buddy.
Great.
Yeah. I've known Frank all my life, and I'm extremely happy for him about this situation.
It's been a little tough getting things done in a short period of time, but everybody that we've been working with has been super awesome and getting everything done for us.
While Roxanne and Frank get styled to the nines, the other vendors are hard at work.
Bridal bouquets are labor intensive. It does take a long time to put one together. They're fairly intricate. It's just like food, it's all last minute. Nothing sits around for too long. It goes right into becoming a bouquet.
The bride and groom were very excited, but they have a very limited amount of time to plan the cake. They wanted to know how we could incorporate shamrocks and paw prints into the cake. It was a little bit challenging to do a cake that has so many different themes, but we're definitely going to try extremely hard to make a really nice cake for them for the flower show.
With this wedding in full bloom, all that's left is to say, I do.
What am I most looking forward to the day of? Marrying her, of course.
Everything from the proposal, I'm sure, until the wedding day is a dream come true.
You want to come up with some kind of wow factor because it is a show after all.
Hunter Hayes Landscape Design is bringing the wow factor this year thanks to their collaboration with the Penn Museum of Archaeology and Anthropology.
This exhibit's called A Modern Nod to the Past. We've created a modern style garden with some inspiration from a Native American exhibit.
One of the exciting themes in this exhibition is the importance of place and landscape to Native people. We thought that it was really exciting that a landscape group would be inspired by these objects.
It was really inspiring because there were so many wonderful colors and textures, patterns. We have a lot of the similar colors. There's a lot of that cobalt blue, which you find in our lit gabion basket walls. We wanted to explore and work with some different textures and design.
Hunter Hayes is also partnering with Tourism Ireland to bring a slice of the Emerald Isle to the city of brotherly love.
The name of the exhibit is Wild Atlantic Way. It's supposed to be a window into the world of the west coast of Ireland.
The Wild Atlantic Way is the nation's first long-distance touring route, and the Hunter Hayes exhibit captures that scenic countryside along the Atlantic Ocean.
It features rugged landscapes and lots of icons that are representative in Celtic history, such as dolmens, which were considered burial grounds for kings. So you'll see a lot of rock work, kind of crumbling walls that are just cascading over the landscape, and spirals that have Celtic backgrounds. We wanted to capture that in this 400 square foot exhibit.
Andy Sturgeon Landscape and Garden Design takes visitors on a different kind of tour through the beautiful mind of English artist Ben Nicholson.
The exhibit is called Speculation, and there's been much debate about whether he was a painter or a sculptor. So the exhibit speculates what he would have produced if he explored garden design.
And they use some of Nicholson's greatest works as inspiration.
We were interested in how he managed to abstract the bare essentials from nature and landscape and then reform them into an elegant and geometric compositions within his paintings. We're going to have a lot of structural walls. These walls can frame the sculpture, which is reminiscent of one of his best-known sculptures in the UK.
From miniature topiaries to tiny terrariums.
We're a city of row homes and small spaces, and growing small, I think, allows you to sort of diversify your look and your feel and the varieties of plant materials that you have.
Like the professional gardener's digging tool.
It's a pretty robust blade for cutting and tearing, and it's kind of the connoisseur garden tool.
When it comes to plants, the folks at PHS are pretty excited about 3 this year.
We have the Begonia Unstoppable Fire, which has a rich burgundy color.
It does well in some shade, but that color against that beautiful dark foliage is just a killer combination. This is going to be a very, very big hit in gardens all over the country.
The Viola Hip Hop is another.
Which I think people are going to love because we're all dying for spring. They all look like little bunnies. And then my personal favorite is the Digiplexus Illumination Flame.
It flowers continuously once it starts to bloom. It will flower non-stop until about November or October, whenever that first killing frost is.
And PHS says more and more people are transforming their outdoor spaces into living places with kitchens and fireplaces where friends and family can gather.
The Hot List is sort of aimed at homeowners of all levels. We've tried to create it so that, you know, the advanced gardener will get something from it, or the amateur gardener, the person just getting into horticulture, can also use it as a wayfinding tool, as a place to start and a place to go.
Subaru's exhibit is an ode to Mother Nature, showcasing resourceful ways to create art from devastation.
Let's go out and pick up those materials, bring it back, and let's give folks hope.
Subaru partnered with landscape architect Ledin Palomino, who used remains recovered from Superstorm Sandy to construct a city gardenscape.
We gathered everything. Every piece of lumber that you see finished on the set was reclaimed.
A carport built from driftwood, sea glass, and old lumber. It all plays on their central theme of reclaimed, repurposed, renewed.
The green roof, which is a way to insulate and a way to harvest the water that's going to come from the roof. Nothing is trash. And the next time they look at a piece of driftwood, they'll probably say, man, I want to bring that home.
Frogs, Nature's Messengers offers an escape from the winter blues. Set in a scientist's research facility, the exhibit transports you into a rainforest habitat, and it's all created by Philadelphia high school students.
We're building a flower show display where we're using power tools.
But don't be fooled, because it's also academically rigorous.
This is the 35th year the students at Abraham Lincoln High School's Academy of Horticulture have showcased their brains and brawn at the flower show.
It's awesome to do something where you can do it from start to finish. Instead of just saying, oh, I did this today in school, I can say, I built this.
Multicolored tropical plants harvested in warmer climates surround a 10-foot waterfall. And what would an exhibit about frogs be without the stars themselves?
We actually have live animals in the display.
The frogs, as indicator species, warn us about detrimental changes in the environment.
When we see it finally up at the flower show and we see what's around it, we get a sense of pride knowing that that one's ours.
Camden Children's Garden tends to over 130 community gardens spread throughout the city of Camden. Their flower show exhibit, Fun with Art, carries their homegrown message.
Camden is a top food desert, which basically means that we don't have any fresh fruit or produce for our city limits.
If kids know how plants grow, then they can really grow their own food.
The exhibit showcases the faces of Camden's children.
Our whole exhibit has been a community effort. These fence posts were done by elementary students all over the city.
Portions of the exhibit will be transplanted to a local boxing academy in Camden, where Children's Garden volunteer Vidal Rivera also trains.
I just love to hear people say, I love your exhibit, I love what you guys did.
The PHS has invested a great deal in restoring and maintaining some of Philadelphia's most iconic landscapes, from the Benjamin Franklin Parkway to Columbus Boulevard to the Fairmont Park Azalea Gardens.
All of that stuff adds up to create this image of a healthy, vibrant city. Plants and flowers bring happiness to people, and it's deeper than really anyone really understands.
PHS has transformed more than 8,000 vacant lots into park-like settings and is on a mission to plant 1 million trees in 13 counties in 3 states by the year 2020.
And we will be announcing this spring and planting our 300,000th tree, thanks to everyone who attends the flower show.
PHS also runs the City Harvest program, turning vacant lots into thriving community gardens and transforming the lives of prisoners and the poor in the process.
Prisoners learn how to propagate plants and get job skills. Those plants are then transferred out to our community gardens, and our thousands of community gardens raise these plants.
The harvested crops go to food cupboards all across the region.
So far we've given away 126 tons of fresh organic produce that goes to feed thousands of families each week in need.
The Horticultural Society now plans to turn attention to major gateway projects, beautifying Philadelphia International Airport and the Northeast Corridor for train travelers, and smaller neighborhood greening initiatives.
Philadelphia is the garden capital of the world, and PHS builds beauty every day.